7:01, we'll call the meeting to order. Previous minutes. Tammy, I did not receive the previous minutes. I received the agendas, but I did not receive the previous minutes for this past meeting.
Those were sent jobs to you on the 14th.
Okay, I just searched and
You and 6 more. From Brennan 7/7/2001. At Yahoo. Did nobody else get them?
No, I didn't either, I'm sorry.
Alright, I'll pull
They were sent the 14th?
Yep. To all of you.
and,
And 7 more.
that's not possible, Tammy.
What's not possible?
It's not possible you sent them on the 14th.
The meeting
Because the
was,
meeting was
I
the
mean, March
28th.
14th. Sorry. Send them on the 20th. Send them on the 20th. March
No.
20th at 8:22
The
p.m.
meeting was the 28th. You've got them online, they are online.
Oh, okay, so I didn't send them then.
there, I looked at it.
March 14th, that was the meeting before that. We're looking for.
Oh,
No,
there was
it's
the
not that
28th, yeah,
day.
okay, sorry.
No,
At least the
My
day.
bad.
that
At
was the
least the
same.
whole day. Okay.
No,
We sent them?
I do not have them.
Alright, let me do that now.
Okay.
Let me do it.
Reports and warrants, John, you have those, so if you could, look through those and get those headed down through.
Yeah,
Okay. Finances,
It goes up.
Maria, has printed those off again.
What time?
Has anybody had communications with her
Today.
today? I know at one point I said something about maybe adding that third column. Can we maybe just throw a reminder in there?
Oh.
Budgeted spending. Yeah.
Tammy, I said I'd check on the Dreyer design
Yeah,
total, it is correct.
okay. So we're trying to talk to us or what's
I'm trying to.
Just trying.
Yeah, chair. The worksheet, somebody's
Just so everybody's on the same page, I was
Okay.
talking with John
It should be there
before
now.
the minute, before the meeting. And, I told him to get the mounting bracket needed to get that television closer so we can read the comments and see who's present.
Okay, and my question is, where do you suggest mounting it?
On that pole.
This pole right?
Yeah.
Okay, towards us.
Well, yeah, not pointed away from us, John, because that would be counterproductive.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out which angle you want that. You want it totally turned, because we can turn it so that, like, you guys can see it, the audience can see it, or you can do it.
I think towards us would be the priority,
Alright,
so we can see who's there, who's making comments.
And it's gonna be on a pole?
Yeah, we put it on the pole, because right now it's too far away. I mean, I know there's a
Yeah,
comment
let's
there.
see.
I can read the comment, but I'm not sure how many of the rest
I
of the
can't
board
read
can read it.
John, are you writing down who's here?
for some reason it's coming. No, I'm not writing down who's here at the moment, but I can.
That'd be
I don't know why
awesome.
it's pointing, it's muted. It's kind of weird, this thing does its own.
Cause I can see some, but not
That
all.
was, yeah, that was just, I had that conversation beforehand, so I wanted to make sure that it was.
For the record, Mac Newt, road commissioner, emailed or texted me, sorry, and said that he is boiling, and if he is here, he will be late.
Does anybody see anything on the budget or expenses that draws attention?
Did anybody get the previous minutes yet?
What's that?
Okay,
No,
my email, period.
Mr. Chair, I recommend that we postpone voting on the minutes till the next meeting. Because not everybody's read it.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to postpone accepting the minutes for the meeting of March 28th. Motion's been made by Brenda, seconded by
Wait,
Lance.
what was that? Wait. The minutes are always posted online, just so
Right.
you know.
Yep.
Website.
Didn't get there.
So there's been a motion to postpone the acceptance until the next meeting. Motion made by Brenda, seconded by Lance. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And Tammy, for Tammy's benefit, yes, we fully acknowledge that we could have looked them up on the town website, but you've been so good about sending them, we've gotten spoiled. And we didn't think to look, and I looked at the last minute, and I ran out of time to get them on the website and print them off, so apologies to you.
No problem. My apologies to you. Thought I sent them.
Any others under the consent agenda? Or are we good to move to visitors? Okay. Moving to
Anyone else
visitors.
on the finance report?
Yes, other than just asking Maria if she can add that third column.
Third column, which is balance remaining.
Balance remaining, correct. First name on the agenda, Gary Busta and Danielle Appleton. See they're joining via Zoom.
You just muted her. Danielle, I just muted you. You can unmute when you get the other phone down.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Much better.
Okay, I can't hear you though.
Yes, we can.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, can you say something? Because I can't hear you.
Yes, you're good. Type in the comments box right there.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
So do you want me to just start?
Yeah, sure.
So in 2019, Waterville Mountain Road washed out. And there was somebody by the name of Julian who went to a town meeting and he couldn't get out of his residence. So he was told by the select board or members of the committee to find somebody to plow and that they would get reimbursed by the FEMA funds. So Gary's a neighbor of Julian.
Right.
And so he kept track of all of the times that he plowed and never got paid. So what happened is he noticed that the bridge was built on Waterville Mountain Road in July of 21. Yeah, July of 21.
Yeah.
And so he contacted Julian. He'd already given Julian his invoice, never heard anything. So he contacted Julian again. He's like, what's going on? So he was given Josh Goss's phone number to call. And Gary's called consistently since summer of 21 about this invoice. So finally he hired me to help and I called the town and now we're on the agenda. And I did send Tammy a copy of the bill. And FEMA funds, I guess, are available now and he has not gotten payment.
Ask them what email.
What email did you send that invoice to for Tammy?
I can check.
It was from Diane, it was from Danielle.
Danielle Appleton.
One second. town clerk underscore Bakersfield dot, wait, town clerk underscore Bakersfield at com? What the heck? Is that right?
Should be Comcast.
Oh, at Comcast. Yeah. Oh, sorry. It got cut off. Yes, it did. Yes. Town clerk underscore Bakersfield at Comcast.net.
Okay, so that would be Kathy's, the town clerk.
Okay, so that went to the town clerk. We do not have that at this time. I do have the meeting minutes though from when Julian was here.
Okay.
So the first one is that we, as a board, never told Julian to find something to plow the road. That was, the way the first time he came in was, he voiced concern that the road had been, washed out, which we were very well aware of. He said that he had been up there for 32 years and that his neighbor, Gary Buska, had plowed out through a couple times and the town was behind in getting up there to sand. Now, I am going off memory on this next part, but I think the reason for that was we couldn't get the tandem truck up there to sand that section, so we had to wait for the small truck to be done its sections of roads.
No plowing either.
No plowing either, he said.
There was no plowing either. The whole year, no town plowed there the whole year.
Well,
I think, didn't Max say, was it safe for them to go up there?
it wasn't safe for them to go up there with the tandem, is what was said.
Yes, that exactly.
And they didn't come up with any other trucks, and even the single axle didn't come up.
Yeah, the tandem couldn't do it. It was too wide, period. And the smaller truck, they felt it was unsafe because, well,
Exactly.
it was just plain unsafe. I'll just leave it at that. There are several reasons they voted for it, but
Yeah, there was big ditches on each side.
Yeah.
a correction as to the misconception that the FEMA funds are available. Yes, we have been paid. We've been paid approximately $150,000 out of 1.1 million. Yes, funds have come in. 100% of those funds have gone against the FEMA loan that we had to float to do these projects. Just to clarify, not an excuse, just a clarification of FEMA funds.
Okay.
So, if I may, do we know who said to go get a private person to plow?
Nobody said to go get a private person to plow. What happened was, in Julian's words, that since the truck was unable to make it up there, that Gary had been doing it for them.
You were told you were gonna, he was told the town agreed to bring him, this is Julian's told Gary that he would be paid. Then Julian said to, the town said, if you can, they can't do it, so if he could find somebody to plow, to write it down and submit a bill and he'll get paid. So, I mean, did it from January 1st till March 1st. He has as many inches that was plowed, and it was a total of $4,600.
Can you say the total again? I'm sorry. 4,000?
$4,600 from January 1st of 2020 to March 1st of 2020. And every plow, he detailed the inches that was done. That was plowed.
January 1st, 2020?
Yeah, it was 2019 when they came in. Sorry, there was a question on the board as to why it was 2020, and that was because Julian came in, on December 30th to our Monday night meeting. And we have how it's spoken here. Julian asked if there could be some financial reimbursement to Gary for plowing when the town can't safely plow. Lance requested, and Lance was the chair at the time, that Julian asked Gary to keep a record of dates and times he plowed, and the town would try to put the expenses in with the FEMA requests. Okay?
Okay.
So, at this time, I mean, we didn't have the records.
Okay.
So that, I mean, we couldn't submit it
Yeah.
at the time. This is a discussion, I don't think we can, sit here right now and give you a definitive answer as to what or how this is gonna be handled. I think there needs to be a discussion amongst the board, and look in to see. I went through all the meeting minutes that I could, and there was not a mention of Gary coming to a meeting.
No,
Okay.
but you haven't, you just read from the minutes on where you just said that you would try to rearburse them with the funds, so you have
Yeah.
it on record. So,
Right. Yeah,
and
that's
Gary
not what I'm.
shouldn't have to go to a meeting. I mean, that shouldn't make him not allowed to get paid.
No, my request, for clarification, my request at the time was for a detailed report so that we could submit this to FEMA.
Right.
FEMA hasn't been forthcoming with funds.
Understood, and I have the copy. I'll be happy to send it to whoever you need to have it sent to. I mean, I don't know who you'd like me to send it to.
Well, the town's in the same situation. We've been waiting for, 2.5 years now, since this event, and we had to take out loans to cover the work to repair these roads, and we're still waiting for reimbursement.
Okay.
I apologize for the inconvenience. I commend him for coming forward and offering his assistance so that Julian could travel back and forth to his home. We will discuss it further and see if we can come up with funds from elsewhere, but the original agreement was FEMA funds, and
Right.
we're still waiting ourselves.
Understood. So do you need me to send a copy of this and to who?
Make sure it comes to give it to Tammy. She's a select board
So,
secretary, and she'll take care of it and make sure
So
that.
I sent it to Tammy though, and you said you didn't get it.
No, you sent it to,
well, it actually went to the town clerk's office,
Yes.
but if you send it
Okay.
directly to me, this is my email. Brennan, BRENNAN.
Yep.
772001 @yahoo.com. And I'll get it to the board.
Okay. This is a copy. I gave the original to Julian. So I don't know if you want me to, it's a little, I don't know. I guess I could, I'll send it to you, and if you, it is what it is. So how long can we expect, like, to hear something?
I'm sorry, I don't have an answer. We've asked our FEMA representative when we could expect funds, our next round of funding, and he's saying months.
Okay, but you said you could possibly find it from other funds as well. I mean, it's been a long,
I said we'd
Time.
look into
Look
that
into that,
possibility.
right. So is somebody gonna get back to me, and how do we follow up with this?
After we look over the invoice and discuss it. Yep. Sorry, I was muted.
Follow up with a letter.
Yeah, we'll get the invoice, look over it, and follow up with a letter to you. Does that work?
A letter, okay. Yes, that will, his address is on the letter, so, is on the invoice. Okay, I will email it off to her right away.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep, thank you. And just so you know, he didn't volunteer his services. He only did it with the intention of getting paid, so that's my last statement. Appreciate it.
Well, he's the only one that came forward and was willing to do it at the time.
Right, exactly, 100%.
And it was dangerous.
Yes, it was. And I will thank you again for
Thank you, I appreciate
taking
that.
responsibility.
Thank you. And what is your name? Yours?
Me? That's
Yes.
Lance
Lance.
Lawyer.
Lance, thank you. Appreciate the acknowledgement. Okay.
We good there?
I think that's all.
All right, next up, we have the Fairfield Community Center. So, just ask, there's a button that's on the line, turn like right here, and hit the push button.
Yeah, I can have this, okay. Submit.
No, it's below that, it says push. There you go.
I can't see that.
It's okay, you did a great job. It's great.
I'm Julie Wolcott, and you know this. I'm Amanda Stanley. And we're just providing you information on the Fairfield Community Center and the activities it does and the involvement of Bakersfield in that. And we have a few questions for you at the end to help us out in our outreach. But we put together a little cheat sheet, so we have some numbers for you. So it seems like from these numbers, about a third of all the activities we do involve Bakersfield residents. So a third of our volunteers are from Bakersfield. A third of the hours that are put in, Bakersfield residents put in 1,386 hours in 2021. A third of our participants in the community meals program, so that's over 1,000 meals in 2021, were from Bakersfield. And then the food shelf, it serves a different clientele, and there were a third of our food shelf visits were from Bakersfield. And I guess these numbers surprised me. I didn't realize that, mostly because of the mailing addresses. that you know, so many are East Fairfield and some are Lewisburg. But I think that they're pretty impressive numbers in some ways. And we've also done some outreach to the school to see if we can involve Bakersfield in our full-time program, which is providing vacation foods for families over Christmas and Easter break. And we just made a connection with them. I don't even know if you know that. So we're delivering 15 families meals. In Bakersfield? Yeah, on Thursday. Great. Yeah, that's good. And I guess why we're here, Linda's been volunteering since the beginning of the year. And this information didn't make it into the town report. Right. That was your main reason for wanting to make sure that.
Yeah.
We do impact report at the end of the year and do send it, I think, to your town clerk. But we didn't see that it was included in the Bakersfield town report. And we really appreciate that. So Bakersfield residents know what services we provide. And, that would help us out a lot. We're pretty much grant funded. So in donations, yeah, fundraising things. So questions we had was, is there a way on your town website to advertise our events, so we could do that. But we'd have to go through the town clerk, or Tammy, through Tammy, okay.
To put on the town website?
Excuse me?
To put it on the town website?
Yeah. And I don't know if this is necessary, but we have identified in Fairfield a select board point person, and whether there was one of you who would like to be a point person if we had questions or wanted more involvement from Bakersfield, just to brainstorm.
Question for you, when do you do meals? Is that on Tuesdays?
It's Tuesdays.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, you can come in? Okay.
And I'll see what it's all about. I'll volunteer maybe.
Yeah, it would, I don't know if we would use you, but, and the big question we have.
Yeah, a director. We're looking for a director.
Plans on buying lunch tomorrow.
Do you want a meal tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll come in.
Okay, we don't do congregate meals yet,
Okay.
but we will.
Is it to go?
It's a,
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Heat and eat.
That's fine. Wonderful.
And then you can see our setup too. That would be great, thank you. And we are looking for a board member representation from Bakersfield. So if you know of anyone in the community, we could call.
And we'll certainly include Brendan right in. Absolutely. Yeah, that was the beginning when Julie asked me if I would be willing to be a director.
Yeah, I thought I almost had her. She said yes right away. And then I sent her the minutes of our meeting. And she
I have 2 hours on Tuesday afternoon. That sounds great. Perfect. It's an amazing place. I am surprised and really pleased with what happens. Hannaford's is just amazing. The amount of food that comes out of Hannaford's and how it's also orchestrated, because the stuff that expires on Monday or Tuesday comes to Tuesday at Fairfield, and the stuff that expires at Hannaford's on Wednesday. Thursday goes to Eansburg's food truck on Thursday, so everything's all, it's amazing, the amount of food that, it's a well-oiled machine.
So Hannaford's donates?
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, then they don't have to compost it or pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works out pretty well. It's really great.
Nice.
Well, my United Way goes to the Fairfield community.
Oh.
Nice.
Any questions for us?
Should that get passed back up? I didn't
Yeah.
pass it directly to you.
Sorry. There's a guy in the middle.
Hey, you're the boss.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if they have questions.
Anybody have any questions?
See you for lunch.
We
Other than what's
well,
for
it
lunch
starts
tomorrow?
just handing out lunches at 1:30.
Okay. Perfect.
And there is not a place for you to sit down unless
I'll bring it back here.
Yeah, or you could show that in the kitchen.
right. And that's part of the process. I think how a lot of Bakersfield people got involved was because there was a sit-down meal, and it's so close by. And then with COVID and everything, when it got shut down, and we started doing this eat and eat things, people are really wishing that we could serve them sit-down meal.
Yeah, and there was a meeting this week that I haven't read the minutes on. They were sent to me. So I think we're gonna start congregating us with anyone, I think.
With the nicer weather coming.
Yeah, we'll have both. We'll still offer takeout, because we went from 20 congregate meals to 65 meals total. So it's all right, yeah.
Do you post your events on Bakersfield Community and the Community Forum?
Often, yeah, through the Front Porch Farm, you mean? Or,
Facebook, you mean?
The Facebook, yeah.
I don't know. if
There are two sites on the Facebook.
Okay,
Yeah.
But you can also advertise on
I've
as
never
well.
seen it on Facebook.
yeah.
No, I
So
haven't.
you're
Front porch forum, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, we do Front Porch Forum, but I don't think we've accessed to Facebook.
It's Bakersfield Community Forum and Bakersfield Community are the two sites that you might be interested
Great.
in, excuse me, in posting.
That's helpful, and that's probably, you get more feedback from them than your website.
Probably.
Yes.
People share a lot of stuff on there.
And it stays up.
Yeah, and maybe you can, if you come tomorrow, you can help us out with that.
That seems like it's working right out.
I like this.
Well, thank you for your.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Judy Valley. Yes. Yes.
It's the same time every year, how could you miss a
The
July?
last Sunday of.
Yes,
of
last
July.
Sunday of July.
Okay. But we will,
I
yeah.
haven't
this is
missed
a
one
good-
yet.
Yeah. Well, thank
Did you
you.
go to the valley?
Okay.
Oh gosh, it's so much fun.
Others for visitors.
Ah,
I see another out there.
Other, yeah, I was told that I was another.
Push the button, turn the light on.
Well, yeah, turn it off.
Thank
No,
you.
for now, it's all,
Thank
it's all.
you.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I'm here representing the Northwest Solid Waste District. And one thing that, I think Kathy got, my term for a representative is up this year. And so I have to be renominated by the select board. And so I guess, since there's nobody else, I'll do it. It's just a formality. This, yeah.
I would entertain a motion for re-election.
Mark, I can't remember your last name though.
Doremus,
Doremus.
yes.
I'll make a motion to elect Mark Doremus
Doremus.
for the Northwest
Solid
Solid Waste
District.
District
Representative.
representative.
I'd second that motion.
Can you do it with your microphone off?
I'd second the motion, please.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
Two, being Green Up Day is coming, just wanted to let you know that we're still, accepting tires. It'd be just car tires.
What? Where?
Where? Well, you see, you have to deliver them down to Georgia. It's not individually, the town would have to get a pickup truck load of them. They take 100 tires into it. And it's best if, but first you have to notify them they're coming, so they have somebody there to help you unload.
Perfect.
Mr. Newitt, do you remember last time that was open, how many tires we took in?
A lot.
Last year, there was very few.
I know, it was the year before
We
this.
stored them in the gravel pit, so we will probably bring them over this year, but that one time, that guy came with a log loader and loaded him into a dumpster maybe. There was, yeah,
And Mark, do you know how much it is, the first 100 are free? How much is it after that?
I'm not certain about after that, you can ask, because tires are something that we're trying, we have a moving market for them.
Okay.
It's something that we might, there was one story of somebody up in Canada that was taking them and then that might have fallen through.
Lafarge?
It might have been.
To do that playground rubber?
I don't know whether it was playground rubber or it might have been fuel.
Lafarge burns them in the cement.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what it was, and then I also heard that some things fell through. But anyhow, they would have a better idea of when's over,
There's also cement in there.
yeah. And then also you take 100 down this year, and 100 down next year, and then it's stored.
Would the
What
select
day-
board entertain the idea of delivering them with our own truck?
Well, yeah.
My thought was if we said the first 100 are free, or if we were to take 2 free and then figure out how much it would cost, if we can go down with a tandem load and cover the cost of the tires and the fuel for the trip down and back for the truck, that seems like it helps out the community in getting rid of some used rubber, and also, you know,
Yeah.
it's good stuff switched out. Anybody have
and
any-
Mark, it's by, just
Well,
clarification, Mark, it's by appointment. We call them and tell them it's
Yeah.
gonna be somebody so
My
we can.
appointment, make sure that there's somebody there to help load them, and there's someplace to put them, because they put them in a dumpster, I think.
Matt, what would be the best central collection point for those?
In Bakersfield, that would be up to the road commissioner, I'd say.
I would say probably right over there on the green where they usually put the green up bags.
Yeah, that's what I would
'Cause
say.
that way,
On the
although
other
it
side of
doesn't
the
always
park.
work, but people can actually see people illegally dumping tires there, you know, because they did that other time. It was just went on for almost a
Days.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tires are a problem.
and that's a Saturday, right? Whatever day you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, you-
well, bring them down to the,
Or you bring it down any day, but I mean, what I'm saying is the green up day is on Saturday.
yeah,
So if the thing would be Saturday afternoon, when it's over, I call Dan or whoever, we bring the truck up, bring the loader up and get them out of there so nobody sees it.
yeah.
You know, because after, yeah, they just magically appear at night.
So hopefully scheduling a Monday to deliver them, so you don't have to handle them multiple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, that might be a problem because everybody else is doing it, but you might call like on a Friday and find out when they need to let you know. Which brings up the third one with the green up bags. The state picks them up on state highways. And so I guess it's sort of to remind the public that they gotta be on the state highway and not on like Boston Post Road. Or
Does the town pick? Yeah, does the town pick them up from the back roads?
We do if they stay there long enough. Usually the people bring them out here. Usually Mark will throw them in the back of his truck, or I'll throw them back. We'll take them to Mark's dumpster rather than, you know what I mean, screw around. It's usually only one or two, if they do, but most of them bring it out here.
So we can put that on the Facebook page and our website.
Mark, where will the bags be available? Can you bring them here?
I think they're here in the town hall right now.
Kathy gets-
Yeah, Kathy gets them. And other than that, any questions? Good, I'll get out of here. Give you good news instead of what everybody else wants.
how Northwest Solid Waste District has settled in at their new site at the North Station.
Yeah.
How are things working? Are you satisfied with that site?
Yeah, it seems to be working very nice. They have a better flow of traffic and they have 3 lanes that you can unload with. So it makes it work. And then also in inclement weather when it's, below 0 or whatever, the guy can go into the building and it makes it nice. And hopefully we're not in the way of anybody, are we?
But about me,
Okay, that's good. It's always good to check in on whether anything has not gone right. But other than that, it works out and, there.
And I can speak to, took a load down to the transfer station in Highgate, last week, pickup load. And not only is it more convenient right here in Bakersfield, but it is also significantly cheaper to do it here than it is at the transfer station.
Why did you take it to the transfer station?
Because I had a huge truckload
Or
of,
what?
furniture,
Oh,
the
okay.
big stuff that I didn't think you guys would be able to.
Yeah, we can't take
Yeah.
furniture or mattresses or anything like
So
that.
we also threw in our recycling and our garbage,
Yeah.
and come to find out it's $2 for recycling down there, and
Yeah,
garbage is, time and a half what it is here.
yeah, it's $5.
And they only gotta take it from here to there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that should be using the recycling in town and not their private dumpster, because I am afraid, and it's a personal opinion, that when the landfills up in Coventry, Newport, fill up, that $5 bag of garbage that we take is gonna be a lot more, and that dumpster that you're housing is gonna get outrageous. Because I went on Google Maps and Street View and I looked at some of those piles that were closed over. They're at least 100 feet high. And they gotta be an acre just in each one. They have to have 4 or 5 in there. And doesn't take long. And they're accepting, Coventry is a private operation, so they're accepting trash from out of state. So it's not gonna be too long. It's gonna be a problem.
So what can we do about the problem of people that are not taking care of their trash. Like, do we have any ground to stand on with, I mean,
In the past,
I have to believe it's a health issue.
yeah, in the past, what we've had is we've had, complaints come in of, excessive smell due to the trash. At which case we have to notify the health officer. Health officer goes out, creates a report. Health officer's report goes to the state. State comes in, does their thing, and both the last times it's happened here in town, they were given, 2 weeks to have it removed, and they come in with a roll off and it disappears, but yeah, there's a process that it has to go through.
And unfortunately, the reality that you pointed out, recycling in Bakersfield is free. So if you have cans and bottles and lots of cardboard and paper, it's all free. And the only thing that you have to pay for is that I have black plastic bags that I use. I think they're 30-gallon plastic bags, and those are $5 a piece. So it's not, if you figure out, if you separate everything out, which is a pain, but you feel good. It takes me a 3 weeks, maybe a month to fill up a plastic bag.
Really?
Yeah, if we sorted our house, family of 4, if we sorted our house the way we should, it takes a good week to fill up 30-gallon bag.
Mine cost me $40 a month, and
Ouch.
That's why I got away
I
from it.
don't even have to do
Just
anything.
walk out there and throw it in.
Yeah.
Is that what a dumpster costs?
No, that's,
dumpster.
that's
That's
trash can.
weekly.
the end.
Oh, okay, $40 a month. I've always wondered what those are.
This is Sylvester's, is
Yeah.
You have, yeah,
That's
okay.
like 5 bags.
They go by my house all the time.
Or
Do you have a
dumpster
dumpster?
bags.
Does anybody have a dumpster?
No, I take it over here for, I take it.
Well, I'm just wondering how much a dumpster costs a month.
my sister and brother-in-law do, but I couldn't tell you how much they pay.
$40 a month for picking up.
And they track your bags. So
Yeah.
when they literally contacted me at one point, I put 1 to 2 bags out a week.
Yeah.
And 1 week I put 4 bags out because I was cleaning. And they contacted me about 4 bags, and I'm like you've been making bank on me, or that's why I come over here to Irving now. It's $3 for my little white bags or my kitchen trash bags, and for the big 30-gallon, it's $5 or something, or $6. I'm like, here you go. So much easier than paying the 40, because when I did the math, I was just throwing my money away.
Yeah,
As long as you go, it's not really free.
but anyhow, so that's what I have to say. Any other questions?
No, we'd like to thank you for your service to the town, and, we'll keep bringing you our garbage. Well, some of us, not all of us.
Some of us don't.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a
I
good
agree
evening.
with that.
Yeah, Katie Foran and.
Linda McCall.
You got Linda, Katie,
Yeah.
and you had Deanna, Alan, who I
Yeah,
think was
okay.
speaking. Deanna was the person who was on the list. Was Jim.
That
No.
was Daniel Appleton.
That was
That
Alan.
Daniel.
That's what it was, I missed that. I have 3 to 4
That's
minutes to go.
Deanna Allen? Okay, Deanna Robert, okay.
Yeah, no problem. Rhodes, sir, step up to the hot seat. Is this app for?
Yes. Coming out the spigot as we speak.
Clear too.
Ours had a little smell, not bad,
I don't smell
but yeah, it was there.
it.
It is. I don't know. Doesn't have to be
Just
that.
crossing careful wires.
I'm not gonna cross my 39.
That's good. We can
Annual
handle
financial plan. It's not filled out yet, we're waiting for one number. What did we have for winter budget?
For this year,
Did we have? Oh, I don't know if we had a set number, I did not, we couldn't find it in the town report.
well, what we did is we combined
It
it.
was the same numbers as last year.
Didn't move at all,
Dirt work and winter work was the same.
are they?
But we added, why the budget went up, because we added the truck payments.
Right, no, I
Sorry.
understand that, that's all separate, and, you know, in the financial plan for the winter.
To the best of my knowledge, winter work and dirt work stayed the same, but we combined them and added the truck payments.
Okay, so if I go by last year's numbers,
Yeah,
Yeah.
TB,
all right. Well, this needs to be signed,
because we also took into account.
just because it's blank.
Extra.
I think the whole board is signed. Rating codes and standards need to be signed.
That's what's paperwork today.
Well, I'll be Friday.
Oh.
And I've been waiting for that.
They just asked me to check with you to see if there were any other roads that were only one lane or something.
Are we sure which path's one lane?
Go right up there, you go with your truck, I go with my truck.
I'll tell you right now, if you learn how to drive from Vermont.
We
you
wrote
realize that's
it
really-
down last time, but it has never been written down as a single lane.
Which got a little, yeah, a little bridge, you know. You can't take the price, I can get it, I can do it far away. We're gonna sign this one.
Got a copy for everybody?
You can't take two vehicles across that bridge at the same time.
Nighttime reading?
I'm not lying to you. We signing this one?
I'll show you the next one.
Okay.
And then this one was just a, roads and bridge standards. I believe it's the same as the other one, but it's
You?
more, a little more
So
detailed.
what are they looking for?
You're up there.
You're up there, what are you doing here?
Already
Got the wires.
Oh,
You're not supposed to sign here.
I know, I
Yeah.
just opened it too.
Yeah.
I open that
You
lead.
did good.
How much more do you want?
40.
You were bad.
Well,
Number two.
we need us to pay off that loan in order to
You would
apply
sell
for
for
grants. We can't have
Number
debt
two.
paying over our debt basis.
Listen,
All over the bottom
that
of the
ARPA
list.
money is supposed to be
Huh?
from COVID.
You like it on, and it's without that.
Yeah, it's just-
Yeah, that's not, they put up that now.
They
It
have-
was some of those, the one that we got last year, the 10,000, we had been at 10,000 matching, which we did have.
I'm not sure that one.
And we still have work to do before we close out that, process. We have a
This
meeting
is supposed to
Wednesday
send-
morning,
this is,
10 o'clock. at the
Bridge standards,
Sports Society. Anybody want to come?
Certificate of compliance.
What we can't do, we're working people. We can't do
Tell them you have more important things to do than work.
What?
FEMA's gonna be 9
All right?
o'clock.
Where'd she send it to?
Okay, that's fine.
She's
I
not
think,
here.
Paul Stanley's coming in late to,
It was Friday.
they're using the building.
Yeah, so,
I don't have it. If you would resend it to me.
Hi, Tammy.
Please.
Talk slower.
Oh,
Wait, are we in two different meetings?
I'm trying to read, and Max got,
We
I
got
got
two
Brown
different
forms
meetings.
that he's afraid one to sign too.
Sorry, I don't remember your first, nobody's wants.
you want a copy of all that stuff that I brought in?
I think I can just say that you gave the application to the ARPA funds to the select board. I think that's.
Yeah, what it contains is a letter from the hearing, telling what we need, why we need it.
American
It's,
Academy of
A copy
Professional
of the thing
Coders.
from the Catholic diocese back when the old
Oh,
stuff, the
Yeah,
bill.
that's the street.
three for now.
Two
Gonna take the dirty one.
denials for grants from the Trust and
Well, there's no figures on here.
There's not supposed to be yet.
No,
Because I had to wait for the
there we go.
number for what
Paul
was
Rubin.
voted in or winter work.
It's all going on.
So you said-
No, she can't, she can
So
go.
what you have is you have what you voted in.
Why you guys like to sign
There you go.
it? I'll tell you what it's about.
They're putting, they're students building for any grants for
How much
American
you
coders.
You take
Didn't
that
have the
number.
engineering
July.
department, because we couldn't get a structural engineer.
I'll let her in, you're not.
Apparently it's
Unfortunately,
it's supposed to cover
Channel
around
First
60% of your total budget, which.
let us apply for
And that's strictly for, if there's an emergency that doesn't have to be covered by
let them
FEMA,
know that the
the
engineering
state
reports were coming
takes over
later.
this kind of things.
This is for the state, is that what this is for, the
And
state?
then,
Let's move the back again, we're just getting clarification on the paperwork, I
I
promise.
think everybody
Due
gets
diligence.
copies of the newsletter that had a report
We're
on.
all bumped off these folks are sitting here listening.
Yeah, we are kind of,
We need one meeting.
conducting business.
Nobody's mic's on, but
I told my son, he said, "No, this is, what do you want me to sign?" Just read this, sign this.
No, this is all
Yeah,
this is.
Yeah, some
So
changes,
it's just
so.
something you have to have in place for FEMA events and.
Adios.
As I was telling you,
Oh, I
FEMA
hope to see you
FEMA
Wednesday.
sent
Okay.
forward out to you. Install.
I hope to be there.
Thought about that.
I don't know if I will be, I'll be out.
So what were the ones that we just signed, Mac? Just
Yeah,
so I
I'm
know.
not going for.
It was
She's
the
doing okay, I
annual
have her
financial plan.
appointment at 8 o'clock
Town
in
highway.
Burlington.
It was the
She needs to be out to leave by 7.
certificate
She doesn't
of
get up.
compliance for town roads and bridge standards.
I know, try to think about it,
Someday.
I hope so.
Yes.
Alright.
I didn't fit right in, it wouldn't take
There are
much
some questions
adjustment
I
at all.
gotta ask Bethany.
Tammy,
Yes, he says.
So- the paperwork that Mac just filed down through
I know, I wanna see what that is.
is the annual financials
Yes, that was
for the
last
road
one.
budget,
Okay,
the certificates of compliance for the
thank you,
state,
sir.
and the bridge ordinances.
Do you have any questions?
There was no communications other than just making sure everybody knew what they were signing.
Night, night.
And is there any questions on the papers that just went through?
If you don't know what you signed, just forward.
Okay, seeing none. Matt, any other road reports? I've traveled East Bakersfield a couple times this week and, that looks
He was up there this
pretty
morning,
good.
he went from end to end, I mean, what little it probably helped because of the frost and the moisture, but I think it would finish taking out the humps and, you know, much smoother. Is it? Other than that, he's been on most of them at least once.
And when you say he's been on most of them, you're talking Mark with Grader, correct?
Correct.
Okay, just clarifying.
I mean, yeah, they're not perfect, don't get me wrong.
And then what would you say is the worst spot you got right now? They're all just pretty
King
much.
Road's a little rough.
Yeah, King Road's rough.
Okay.
I mean, again, if it was gonna be a nice week, he'd be on,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to rain tomorrow morning, it's supposed to rain Wednesday.
Yep.
He
They were
definitely
great
needs to
for
Just
have.
gonna be-
Cambridge today.
You're great now, you're just gonna be pushing mud around.
Yep, no, I agree.
It was horrible.
I
said,
did- I did run into Mark the other day, and he brought up a question. We had talked about the grader in Johnson.
Yep.
And, I asked him, I said, you know, would new grader be helping you out right now? He said, quite honestly, I think having that 6-wheel drive is gonna be a requirement.
And I,
Because he's not sure he could move the amount of material he needs to move right now during mud season
with the,
with strictly a rear wheeled
Yeah.
machine. Which is good information for us to know before we got further along in that process.
with the bigger grader, it might help. I mean, when things slide down the hill, it's hard to push them back up the hill, 2-wheel drive, there's no doubt about that. I did get a call over the weekend, apparently yesterday, from Tim Pugba, from not Nortrax anymore, United John Deere.
Yeah.
They have coming in trade, I think he said next week, because he knows we're looking for a grader. A 772G 2012, which is the all-wheel drive version, so I will call him and.
Is that the same size machine that we were looking at in Johnson?
Only it's the 6-wheel drive.
6-wheel drive says, okay.
I don't know whose it is, I don't know what it looks like, but he just called and said, if you're interested, just let me know. And I probably will, you know, say we're interested, at least a look at it, you know.
Yeah. Now, would you send Mark down to check that out, or you and Mark go
I
down?
probably do, or myself and one of the two of you, or 3 of you, 4 of you, 5 of you, it doesn't matter. I mean, and it depends, again, if it's gonna be in Burlington or if it's gonna be at the place of whoever's trading it. I'm assuming that one that I saw down there a couple weeks ago, the brand new one, was probably going to this town,
On the order, yeah. Okay.
so.
Well, I mean, guess the word is out that you know, even if we're not fully looking, that we're
Right.
at least looking at them.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, good. Anybody else have any comments on grader situation or roads?
Are we still kind of thinking about a backhoe? Oops. Are we still thinking on the backhoe, or is that not really a necessity?
It would be nice. Even if it's, you know, slightly used or what have you. I mean, right now on the Barnes Road, we have a beaver problem, which isn't a problem, but we got no way, because it's not at the end of the culvert, it's like in the middle of the culvert.
Yeah.
We have no way to do anything with it, unless we call Greens and
Rent a machine.
for a day, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's something that,
Cost you more in transport than it would to,
it's definitely something we should look into. It would be nice when we get all done with FEMA to see what we've got left over when we lick our wounds and see if we can do something like that, which,
Just info, FYI, the little buggers are at it again on Crossroad.
did somebody put a trap in there?
I don't know. I
There's
just
a
thought
couple sticks that are pointing straight up and down that look like they might be a trapping type.
I don't know when the seasons are anymore.
What road did
There
you
are
say?
So
crossroads.
which one?
What road did you say for the beaver problem?
Barnes Road and Crossroad.
Question to the point of the discussion. If we owned a backhoe, would we still need to rent an excavator for a period of time?
I believe so, because backhoes, they're not made for doing ditches, you know, big ditches. I mean, yes,
Understood.
little ditches.
Yeah.
Culverts, that kind of stuff, absolutely, but as far as.
They just don't have the range of motion that is required.
And I don't know even without getting into the back of the tandem.
yeah, I don't think you could load a tandem with a backhoe.
So, I mean, in certain ways you could, it would be, you know,
Two things, can you refresh my memory, how much would a brand new grader cost versus what we were looking at Johnson?
300 and plus,
Right, so it's like 3 times, almost 4 times the amount.
yes.
Well,
Right.
the one we were looking at Johnson, yeah, well, what we were hoping to spend on the one in Johnson. A good used one, you're probably gonna be, with a 6-wheeler, you're probably gonna be pushing 150.
Especially if you're going through a dealer.
Through a dealer, probably, yeah, if not more.
But the way they had talked
Yeah,
originally
175.
was they were asking that number that we talked about, they were asking that because that was what they were offered for a trade-in.
So if that's what they're offered for trading, then you would probably add another 20, 15,000 onto that is what you're gonna be looking to pay every dealership.
Yeah, they're gonna mark it up, they're gonna do a 20% margin on whatever you're taking in.
And that would depend upon too,
Well,
the
it's
availability.
easier to bargain when you know how much they gave.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And then my other question was, what Mark had said to you, I think you said, Mark said the 6-wheeler versus this 4-wheeler, I mean, is that gonna be, if this one that's being turned in possibly at the John Deere or whatever place it's being turned in, it's not the Johnson one, that it's a 4-wheeler, but it's all-wheel drive, is that comparable to the 6-wheeler? Because it's all-wheel drive?
it is a four, they
So
all have six.
they both have 6 wheels. The only difference is on the one in Johnson, the 4 wheels in the back are powered. The
Not
2 wheels in the front are not.
Oh,
So the one that we're looking at,
The one
at the
that-
John Deere dealership, all 6 wheels are powered.
And that's the same as what we have down here. It's the next size up, bigger, greater, and 22 years newer.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's
gonna be better.
quite a bit beefier and quite a bit more power, I believe, than it was back in the day, but back in the day, it was a good grader, and still is a bad grader, but we had that one pin that our mechanic found, this piece of roll pin that he said came out of one place that could be, and it was gonna cost, you'd have to split the grader, take it apart. It was a big dollar. You'd have to almost move it like a Valancourt's to have it picked up and,
Where it's someplace we try to do it.
yeah. Which, like you said, it might not ever go, but we could go tomorrow.
And then Mac, the call I received the other week about Egypt Road that I talked to you about.
Yep.
They called back and said thank you. I just want you to know, they did call back and thank you for your work on
Yep.
Saturday. They said it was great.
That was the junction of Skinner Hill and County Road and Egypt Road.
Yeah, that's the one. I took the call on, what, Friday?
Friday.
Late Friday. And I
Late
talked to
Friday,
Mac. Yeah.
she went out Friday morning, if she'd called the shop Friday morning instead of Friday at 3:30, we could have probably run over there Friday afternoon,
But she called back like Wednesday, or last Wednesday or Thursday, and just said, hey, I know it's much later, but I wanted to thank you guys for doing it. I said, I'll pass it on.
it was fairly quick fix, it was 2 loads of stone and, you know, a little bit of gravy.
Max,
So would we trade in our grader?
It depends upon where you went with it. If you did something with John Deere, then you could either trade it in or sell it outright, depending upon, you know, you might get more for it selling it outright to a, you know, construction place. Or a lot of loggers in Maine tend to buy those kind of things.
Hmm.
You know, so I
sugar
mean,
makers in our area.
what was that?
I said a sugar maker in our area. They're starting to maintain a
Oh, yeah.
lot of road frontage. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, I just said that a sugar maker in our area would be interested in doing it like that.
Yeah.
So maintaining their roads.
Yeah.
Is your pager, I had the bus company call the other day, and they said they couldn't get through on your pager. Was there a glitch on that, or did you receive a
No,
message from the?
I got one from the bus.
Okay, you did, alright. They just said that it didn't go through.
It seems like a lot of the times, I had one from Putney Hill once, somebody will start a message and somebody called back twice now and said it went beep, beep, beep right in the middle of it. Well, I'll be listening to it and then it'll just go dead. So I don't know if it's a smaller window of time that you have to talk,
Okay.
which it very well could be, just leave your number.
So if you're calling Mac to leave a message on his pager, keep it minimal.
Has to be very brief.
Yep.
Brief and
Name and phone number to call back, and the road of concern is probably.
phone number as quickly as possible, that way.
Phone number should be what you give.
First.
It's really for you to be able to contact, and that person can contact you right back.
Right.
If you're gonna leave a message, it's gonna be a very
Short,
brief one,
yeah.
because
Or else they call,
there's not space.
or else they call 2 or 3 times and repeat the thing and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most important thing is the phone
Phone
number,
number.
so he can call them back.
A phone number and a description of the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just give the name of the road even.
Yeah, I think that one was when they were stuck on.
Yep.
That corner.
Yep.
Alright. Any others for Mac?
You wanna do something tomorrow morning with that, quarterly report?
Yeah, Mac and I are gonna have a quarterly report done by the end of the week.
I sent
Also,
FEMA.
some good news for FEMA.
I sent that
The
to
quarterly report for
FEMA.
FEMA.
I sent
I'm
that to
sorry.
the 3 of you. I couldn't send it to you because apparently I don't have your contact in my thing, but it's, FEMA has decided that they're gonna pay 90% of the cost from the Halloween storm instead of 75%. Now, I don't know whether that's gonna leave the state saying we don't have to pay anything because FEMA picked it up, or it's gonna be less of an end on ours. She didn't go into details, she just said, there's nothing you need to do, if it's been obligated or blah, 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 you will receive a check, but it's gonna take time. So anything we've got a check for so far, we should get an extra 15% sometime along in the mail. Or in the-
Excellent. That's,
Yeah.
extra money is never a bad thing.
Per the question that we had earlier tonight, is it too late to add any dollar amount to that, with regard to the plowing job?
But yeah,
That
so
plowing job, I think, would go in at the end.
Very possibly, yeah. I don't think there's a problem with, we could ask Paul, but of course Paul's on vacation, so.
Yeah, Paul's unavailable until the end of the week.
Can't do
Beginning of next week.
We can't really do anything with it until we get the invoice and see
Right.
what that invoice really entails.
Terry is absolutely correct.
Just a question.
Then we'll look into.
Right.
No, we print it off.
Any others for Mac? Yeah, keep up the good work, roads are,
There's probably
for
something else that I have.
what it is, they're looking good.
That place is good. I don't want to poison the burger.
Don't make some sweet
What's
stuff.
this East Bakersfield culvert project? Is that Mac?
No, that's the one
Okay.
we were talking about with the Fish and Wildlife
Oh, yeah,
Department.
okay, yeah.
Have a good night, sir.
Thanks, Mac.
What time?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
9 o'clock?
I'll be here. Yeah,
Alright,
it's boiling fine, so we're all set.
oh, okay. Did you double check the back pan, make sure it's still coming in?
No, he always does my boiling, it's just
Oh,
that
okay.
when you start to make syrup, it kind of,
Yeah, well,
no,
no?
it's boiling good, it's filtering, no filterating, filter, good flavor last night, the night before.
That's scary.
It is scary, it's,
Yeah, that's scary. Did it lighten up too? Starting to metabolize?
no,
Color did it lighten?
it lightened, but the flavor did not metabolize, you know what I'm saying?
That's good, yeah.
It's, I would say it's a borderline medium dark right now.
My favorite. My other habits are making hungry.
That's what.
Those that have it so light.
I know,
That's what tastes good.
there's no flavor, it's just sweet.
Last week, it would be what you want. This is what we're making now, dark flavor, but.
Somewhere.
Good cooking though, good for
It
cooking.
is, it is.
So church is $200 a plow.
Keep making it, it's sort of no problem.
It's not a normal plow.
That's right.
I don't know if you were up there.
No, but they were saying the roads were treacherous.
I couldn't believe yesterday how much it was
It was
pouring in.
barely, barely.
Oh, really? I would talk to Seth today.
After that freeze
And
last
then
night,
there was
it
no
was.
shoulder on the downward side.
Really?
You know the road.
Yeah,
I disagree
A
with you.
little cloudier, but.
22 tons.
This does
What
not.
is it here, right?
And this is what I
I don't know.
tried to
We
read.
had a compact road.
Right, look,
so,
as big as that.
I don't think it's,
Okay, the
Do you remember
median
that,
we're
Matt?
talking
I
about
don't find it acceptable.
How many days did he?
is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
just
11,
happens to
12,
perfectly
13,
even
14,
I counted 22.
January to
20, 21, 22.
Yeah, I only counted 22 as well, so it should be 4,400.
Same.
And he's getting
was
two
December.
hundred top of plow.
What?
How much
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
this?
December 30th, so the day after, he's there to plan.
So he plowed,
From the hill to.
Oh,
He was looking for,
That's over.
Alright.
I don't think it's
But if you
much
did
more
it
than
twice.
that.
It was
so
12:30.
we're just looking at the,
Yeah.
clarification and stuff.
That was great clarification, Joe.
it is, but you gotta say something, you're just sitting here, they're sitting in dead air.
That's.
They gave this to you.
Not open meeting, Joe.
That's right.
No, it
No, it's not, Joe.
I remember there was a bill.
No,
They
don't
just
get
gave
on
this
it.
to us.
I'm not mad.
I didn't
Not
do that.
we.
Take
I-
the,
I
I'll put our
think
next
you
on
guys
the
do
lead.
anything.
Yeah.
Back the old way, you get somebody down there.
No, we did not.
We need to make sure.
And left it.
So are we looking at this now, or are we looking at this later?
Well, this was gonna hit it.
It doesn't matter when we look at it, but
So we've received the, invoice, we'll call it, for the plowing that was discussed earlier in the meeting.
I mean, it didn't matter if it was 10 inches of snow or 5 inches of snow, it was $200.
I only count 22 occurrences, which is 4,400, if you go with $200 a plow.
Is there one on the back?
Is there? No, I don't see one.
No?
Uh,
It's,
Um,
I just don't find this to be acceptable.
to the attorney, Michael.
I don't really find this to be acceptable. I mean, there's no, it's like $200 no matter what.
What did he plow with back?
I believe it was a one time, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was a one ton, it was at least a three-quarter, it was a pickup truck.
Yeah, it's a pickup, that big green thing. Well, for one thing, we'd have to, I would say you'd have to compare it to our own reports of snow
Right,
before you do anything.
yeah.
So, Max, since you're standing here, do we roll the trucks with 3 inches of snow on the ground?
Depends upon what it is, yeah. Usually, especially on a place like that, you know, being that hill.
Okay.
That includes sand, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. The other thing with that is, both those people are living in,
Did
Mhm.
Mr. Buska have a sander on his truck?
No, Julian sanded a couple times, I think out of the back of his, I think he's got a little pickup,
By hand,
yeah.
just to throw.
Just,
it in.
I think just the corners, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and actually Mark went up
I
there.
would say, I seem to remember Mark being able to make it up there a couple times, the
He did
sand
go-
with the small plow.
He sanded it and he actually laid it back some.
Yeah. Okay,
I would definitely,
that's,
wait till we can find out what you can from FEMA to start with. But, yeah, that's,
And I can see almost the 200 because is he drove his truck from Colchester driving all the way up here to Platt?
no,
No, he
absolutely
lives
not.
up there.
Okay, because that's the
he lives
address.
up top of the hill.
Oh, Busco is at the top of? Oh, okay. Then I can't see that, you're right. I was gonna say, if he's driving that truck because the address is Colchester, he's coming up all the way from Colchester.
Yeah, no.
Unfortunately, I have no idea what the going rates for snowplow work is.
I don't think it's anything like that.
No,
Like, how much, I mean, I know, I'm just trying to remember what it is to just plow a driveway.
Driveway, my driveway's almost 900 foot long, and when I had it plowed, it was $50.
$50.
I paid
Yeah.
35 when I was having mine plowed.
You said 900-foot driveway?
Mine's 900, just under 900 feet, they were
I
charging
don't
me
know what mine is.
$40 to $50 to move the snow, and I used them a couple times because I couldn't do it.
What is that?
How long do you think mine is, Matt?
Probably not.
Julian's, it's a half-mile stretch.
Mine was, I was plowing from 108 all the way up top, and they were doing a huge parking lot up
Yeah.
top,
I mean, that's, yeah.
and it was
so,
35.
I would say, you know where, Grady Lumber lives, or lived,
Yeah,
Mary? Curtis charges her, I believe, $50, but I think he plows her driveway and up to Jutrov's too for $50. I mean, so that's.
Do you know many people that plow?
yeah.
Not right offhand. I mean, I know
I
people
do.
that plow.
Can you, I don't, I plow my own driveway and I don't try and solicit anybody to do my driveway or the farm either. Could you talk to people you know and ask how much
What,
they would charge for
what was
that?
the length of this again?
Say
About
half a mile.
half a
I
mile?
mean, I could look it up, I can't look it up. P.E.G. DeRosa, plows, I think he's new though.
He just started,
Yeah, he wouldn't be, but if you get a hold of
but you
somebody.
got Ross, you
Jason
got
Curtis.
Jason Curtis,
Jason would be good with
you
that.
got lawyers
Yeah.
over in Enosburg,
I think Jimmy DeRoja also plows
Jim
Paradise Lane,
DeRoja.
which is,
Yeah.
it's
Drive.
2 classes on a road, basically.
If you could get a few quotes, that would give us a place to start.
And then we could find records of our own snow plowing over that time period.
I can find that easy now. I can do that tomorrow over here. Your copy of it? Lance has one.
Copy of.
I'm saying tomorrow I'll grab that book and we'll. go
Yep.
through it. Compare notes.
Okay, we will do some research on our end, and we'll get back to that one.
Yeah.
New mail, unless, go boil that for the burner rate game.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll take some no-bake maple cookies next meeting. We'll take some no-bake maple cookies next meeting. Or donuts.
Oh my God. That's just a portion of it.
Okay. You ever use the maple sugar? So, that library too.
Oh, yeah, that was-
Okay. Does that, does our information, is it required for it to be made public?
Well, I don't know, this was sent to us to confirm and change anything that needed to be changed. And some
Because
of
quite
it was all-
honestly, I think there are quite a few phone calls that are being made to personal, homes during times that are not select board time that are or not complaints, but are issues that need to be brought up at the select board, not single phone calls to any one member of the board.
I would agree with that, Mr. Chairman.
Well,
Josh,
didn't
you
you
tell me what you're-
experience,
Yeah, like,
This is just our contact information to be sent to DTDLC. So I think it would be sufficient for us to have the pager for the road commissioner listed and the office number and hours posted. Any concerns or complaints would go through there. Because I feel like there may be some information that is given to some people and not others because there's personal phone calls being made.
yeah,
Whether that's right, wrong, or unjust, I just, as a small town, I think that's where we could get ourselves in trouble by doing such things. I have, and I'm sure people in the community can attest to it, I have gone to not answering phone calls at my house. If it's a concern that requires town addressment, then calling the town office would be my recommendation. So I'm making the motion that we remove select board telephone numbers from the town website. I called Johnson to speak with their select board chair about an issue we are all familiar with, and I was told that is not public information and was not given their information, so.
okay, town, I'm good with that.
Did you,
So what's published is the office hours.
Office hours, town phone number,
Town clerk,
yep, well, the number here at the office, not her personal phone number
no,
or
no,
anything
no,
like that, but
that's the town clerk's
the town
office.
clerk's office and the pager number for the road commissioner.
What about the garage?
And so if there's any question, like, okay, for
I think the
question.
garage, I think if you have an issue with the roads, I think calling the commissioner's pager should be sufficient. I mean, the numbers in the book,
They
I'm
don't-
sure, but
Do they have a answering machine down there?
they do. But when the bus company called there, I told them to call the pager number because that's the purpose of it.
Mr. Chairman, I wanna, take a beat here. I'd like to contact the Secretary of State of the VLC, Vermont League of Cities and Towns, because I believe there may be statute that says elected officials need to be available, to their constituents. And I know everybody in the state house has everything published. They have their home and their cell phone.
So what you're saying is that Johnson is in,
They may be in, yeah, they may not be in compliance.
This is my 15th year as a select board member. My number has always been available. I believe what Brenda is saying, if not
Well,
to
you
be a
are,
state statute, I believe that it has merit at the very least, that there should be a number to call there.
there is, that's what your town clerk is for. Yeah, but.
We're elected officials. We are at the beck and call of people who elected us.
I'll ask the question.
But my thing is,
That's
I
true
agree
for
with Josh that we shouldn't be having conversations with people without all 5 board members.
No, but you can take information and tell them that they need to come to the next select board meeting.
so, sorry not to interrupt, but I'm going to. Enosburg members are listed, their terms expire. There is a contact us button. If you click on the contact us button, it gives you an email. The only information listed here is the telephone number for the town clerk, the email for the town clerk. Names are there. There is no contact information given out.
Josh, that's a good point, because I talked about this with a couple, like, not talk, but I had a conversation with Kathy and I think Brenda at one point. What I really think we need to do is have a select board email address. You know, so people can contact the select board and we have access, and or a distribution list that would forward it to your personal email addresses. So that there's a common point when people can get a hold of us via email and we can respond appropriately. And especially if we're talking about pulling the telephone numbers off.
Looking at, sorry, not to
That would
interrupt,
be
but I'm
great,
going
because
to.
then you have a written record.
Fairfield Town website list, names of board members, their positions, no other information is provided. I can keep looking if we'd like.
How do you propose that a constituent would be able to contact the town for a grievance?
Well, how do they get on this, how do they get on the agenda?
They don't even provide a town hall phone number there.
How do they get on the agenda?
They call the town clerk.
The town clerk's number wasn't listed there.
My question is like, because this select board is also, for instance, I have a question, Josh.
Yep.
There's no emergency coordinator in Bakersfield now, right? Sam Cribb is not it,
That is correct.
which means the select board is it. So today, when the public safety people called to confirm that Sam Cribb was the emergency coordinator, I said no to the select board and I gave him the chair's name.
Looking at Montgomery's. Montgomery's
Chair's name
list.
is fine, you just don't have
No, I
a
know,
phone
but
number.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that. And I wanted to make sure maybe we need to get somebody, I don't know.
I believe we had talked to the fire department about one of their.
We did at one point. I think both the town select board's members and the fire department dropped the ball on that one. I think we all forgot about it.
Montgomery, another bordering town of Bakersfield, lists the select board members with pictures. I guess you put my picture on there, I don't really care. It lists their term and the expiration date. There is no contact information. I think the only other town border is Fletcher, correct?
I mean, your point is well taken, Josh.
I understand we are representatives of the town. I do not deny that at all. I don't believe that we are to be at their beck and call for every little complaint.
For the better part of the issue, we don't get people nitpicking all the time. We get a few calls, and yes, occasionally there are some petty complaints. I freely admit that. Most are legitimate concerns. And they have a right to be able to contact someone to find out where and when these concerns can be addressed.
And
They should be able to call the town clerk's office and find that out.
they would be where and when would be the next select board meeting.
Right.
I do not have the power, nor does anybody else on this board, to address any issue that is, patrons have within the town.
No, you take the information and politely inform them that they need to bring it to the next select board meeting.
But
Get
that's-
on the agenda.
Which is what I'm saying, is that phone call can be made here, not to my private residence at 9 o'clock at night.
That's right. I agree.
Because I received a phone call the other night at 11:15 that there was a dog in the middle of the road. My initial response was, like, I'm not gonna say it, because at 11:15 and my phone rings at my house, I'm expecting somebody in my family in the hospital. That is not okay. I should not have to have the feeling that I had at 11:15, here, because somebody's stray dog is running up the road.
However, we are supposed to have an animal control officer. We can't seem to get anybody that is willing to do it. So that responsibility falls to, by state statute, the select board.
So-called town clerk's office.
At 11:15.
I'm throwing it out there.
You know, the town clerk
There's
doesn't
no-
have the authority to do any of what you do.
To put stuff on the agenda?
Or we can put stuff on the agenda, but some things can't wait 2 weeks.
But she can contact Josh, it doesn't have to be the complaining person.
I'm just saying
I
that
agree with
there's,
Josh. I
there is
don't
no
think
other
that-
town that borders us that provides personal information, contact information to the public.
Well, then we need somebody that's willing to act as a dispatcher.
Well, what about the
For
email
what?
idea?
Why do
They
you
have
need to
it.
have a dispatch?
They
What
have an
about
email.
John's idea for a select board email?
Fletcher does have an email.
And then you've got a written record of whatever the complaint is,
Yep.
when it was done, what time,
Which
How
is
it's
perfectly fine.
worded.
I would agree with that.
and that would bypass the town clerk.
That would.
You sh- And then you guys just have to check it regularly.
But you also shouldn't be answering it either.
You should, couldn't you do that?
I think I'm too big. I agree actually with Brenda. I think we need to find out what
Yeah, I'd like
what we
to-
have to find out from the state. If the state says we don't need it, then we come back and we decide if we want to remove it or how we want to go. If it's there, I'm big on if the rules are there, you follow the rules. I've always been that way. So if it says that we have to have it, then all those towns are in violation and they need to get their information out there.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I have been at the receiving end of those petty phone calls and unreasonable requests and complaints. But by far and large, most of them are legitimate. But we need to address this one way or the other.
I will say as a resident of the town, before ever being on the select board, to what Josh was called about, we have an overabundance of canines running around all over the darn place. And a lot of the times when I see them on the road, we'll stop, try to get the dog, see if it has a tag and take it to the home. And, you know, I understand you open the door, dog jets, but, you know, I don't know if we have a leash law or something, but, you know, we have an awful lot of stray dogs running all over the place.
The
But
leash
license
law is
plate back-
only within the village limits.
No, not exactly. We just took a dog back over in Enosburg. Oh, leash law, I apologize, yeah. We just took a dog over. My daughter called me Saturday night. There was a dog sniffing my other dog at 12:30 in the morning while it was going to the bathroom. And it was loose, and new people moved in Enosburg, Butternut Hollow, and Sand Hill Road, sorry. And brand new owners, and their dog was loose, and it ran from there all the way up into my yard. It was gone for 3 hours. We have an abundance in this, not this town alone, but a lot of stray dogs running around, the dogs that got loose because they got away from the owners or they were never put on a lead. And they take off.
I'll ask the question tomorrow, Mr. Chair.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Did you read this?
I perused it, yes.
Yeah, you wanna give us this is what
That-
Mr.
Mr. Evans presented parts of that to us at the last meeting. It's for the renaming of 3 brooks, I believe, in town, or naming of supposedly unnamed brooks in the town. They were never on maps. If people want to name them, that's up to me. It's all we have to do is agree and sign it. That was dated before any meetings we had.
Yeah, this is dated, August 19th, 2019 for P.E.G Brook.
So that must be over.
It is,
So
November 29th
Are they
2020.
reconsidering?
for Heron Brook. They're the same names. And 11/29/2020 for Schoolbrook.
Well, I thought last time when Pat came in, he said they were gonna reconsider.
this came from the state, this did not
Oh,
come
this is,
from,
okay,
yeah,
got it,
yeah, this
okay.
came from the Department of
Libraries,
which
and I believe
makes me.
Pat told us that they were going to go back and review, as per
Herrenbrook.
Herrenbrook. I should never have brought it up. It's, they were gonna go back and review the names and see if there were any other questions. So I believe where this stands, we're waiting for Pat and his group to get back to us.
As these are dated the earliest, 11/29 of 2020,
Yeah.
I do not feel like it will hurt them to sit in this folder for another week or two.
I agree.
We will keep this on the bottom of the agenda. Tammy?
Yeah,
At the bottom of the agenda, if we just put Vermont Department of Libraries, Brook renaming or naming, however you would like to classify that. We're gonna look into this.
Okay, for the mail.
I believe that is it for the mail. Does anybody have anything else?
Some super from
East Bakersfield Culvert project, have we discussed, or would we like to discuss that and what has been offered by the department, or, sorry, not the department, the agency of wildlife, or Department of Wildlife, or the wildlife agency of department.
Yeah, just to open the discussion, a couple things. Didn't look like it would cost us anything. We'll put a plan in place that we could implement at a later date. It doesn't have any funding for that project itself, but the estimate, I think, and the engineering work is all done by them, and we're giving it. It's your,
As I understand that, there was no obligation to use this
East Bakersfield.
information that they're gathering.
right, and that was what we wanted him here for, because we want clarification on that. We'll just have it in a file cabinet someplace, and if we have to use it, we have an approved plan to go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree with both of you. I do not see any issues in accepting their willingness to design the crossing, for whatever it may be. With the understanding that we got the other day that there is no commitment on the town's part and
No cost.
there's no cost at this point. And if in the future, they have money to do that project, we may be willing to jump on the boat then, but at this point, we'll accept the free design and nothing beyond that point. So Tammy, if you could, or unless you want to, Brenda, I think you reached out to him the first time.
Yep.
So if you could reach out to him and tell him we're willing to accept, or that probably needs a motion and a vote, I apologize, I'm getting ahead of us here.
I'll make the motion that we contact the gentleman who gave us the dissertation last time.
Luke,
Yeah, Luke, thank you.
Brissett.
Yeah, Luke Brussetti, and we move forward with his proposal.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright.
Okay, so back, there was a motion made to remove the names, or there was no motion?
There, I did, it was not seconded. Can we go with that? That makes it easier.
I'll second the motion.
We were looking for more information first.
Okay.
For what?
I was gonna say that the motion was to have a mention move from the
The numbers,
internet.
sorry.
Oh, we're on that one.
Well, we went back to that.
No, I just need
apologize.
clarification for the
It did
names.
not receive a second, so therefore the motion did not go to a vote and did not,
We're getting more
we
information.
will get more information and revisit.
2 weeks.
That's the easiest way to do that.
Perfect.
Agreed, Ken?
Do you want that put on the agenda?
Yes, please.
Okay.
ATVs, we have had some complaints, I would like to say publicly,
Complaints on what?
ATVs, traffic.
Okay, well,
Oh, sorry, Tammy.
On people,
you guys are
complaints
whipping,
of
Correct.
Okay.
Okay,
You ready, Danny?
I ran out of paper, so
You learn shorthand.
I have. Talk slower.
So we have received a couple complaints of ATVs on the roads. I would like to reiterate that the roads are not open at this point. There is a defined opening date, which is in the statutes. And if you are on them now, you are doing so illegally. Please do not make us close the roads. If you're listening.
What's the date?
I believe it's May 1st. I do not have that in front of me, so
It's true.
it is,
May 1st.
okay, May 1st is the date. I didn't wanna say that.
Yep,
out loud,
that's
but-
on the ordinance.
So just make it, another, 20 days, folks.
Tam, are our stickers in yet?
Stickers will be picked up by me tomorrow as soon as I have the check.
And we do have a
We'll have
mail
one Thursday. Some guy came in for one and he told me we'd have one Thursday.
order, we do have a mail order form now for them.
It's on the website.
Perfect.
Excellent. Just to clarify, 'cause I'm not sure, Tammy, do you have your mic on over there?
I think I do.
Is the green light on?
Green light's on.
Alright. Hopefully everybody heard that out there.
La la land.
Tammy, are we putting any caveats on the mail order saying that we're gonna wait for the checks to clear, or are we just assuming they're gonna clear?
I'm assuming
Well,
we
same
put
as
that on
you do
there.
when they come in,
There's
in
nothing
the
on
door,
there.
it's the same thing.
Wants to hold the ticker. I don't know.
Alright,
Overthinker down there.
Usually if you get a bounce check, we get a $25 fee for it. So I think we need to make sure we make it clear if the check bounces, it's on them, the fees.
Tammy, can we put amendment on the internet that says all returned checks will have a service fee of whatever your
25.
bank says
Service fee of the bank charge.
for the bank charge, yep.
Return check.
Now, at the last meeting, the reason ATVs is now on here is we had discussed opening up the west side of 108,
Yes.
which would include Egypt, County, Lawyer, I'm not gonna name all of them, I'm sure. Down on the south end of town, we'd be looking at, Whitney and
Jordan.
Lost Nation.
Lost Nation, yeah.
Okay, can you say those again?
No, just the west side of 108.
West side of
The rest of it was just for the people listening out, and
Okay.
as you stated, I do not see any issues with opening those sides, that side.
They're being used now.
They are being used
They're
now.
being used anyway.
Would that add any roads to the closed areas? For example, the paved portion of the avenue.
They're parking there now, I think. Was the report today.
That was,
They were parking at a private residence.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, I know where those bikes are and where they're going. They are parking at a private residence.
On the avenue?
Yeah, I think, yes,
I would
yeah.
keep the avenue closed. They can come down Egypt.
They can come down Egypt, I would agree. So the avenue would be closed if we open that side. I do not see any other roads over there that would require closure.
School Street?
Is that an actual street? Brigham Academy Lane?
Yeah.
I would agree with that. There's no reason for
Yeah.
ATVs, but one of our folks, one of our townspeople who are driving on that side of the road actually lives on that street. So by closing that, we would tell him that he can't technically leave his driveway to ride his ATV.
Well, could you do
Well,
an
that's how
exception, residents may exit?
that's how I've lived for the last years, because you close the whole west
Well, I'm
side.
pretty
Where
sure
do I
that's
live?
not gonna stop that person.
No, I agree. And one of the other things that we talked about is that we had too many ATVs when it was open to the trails, parking at the school.
Mhm.
They were parking there and unloading.
Yeah.
We were trying to get away from that, so I would agree that Academy Lane and the Avenue,
Well,
would
the
be
school, I
closed.
think, has their own policy, no ATVs or snowmobiles on school grounds.
Unfortunately, our current principal gave a couple of students permission to cross the school parking lot with ATVs.
Josh, would it be,
Well, if it's open, it's open, you can't just give it to one or two people.
I understand that, I'm just saying that did happen, and a person was going to be here tonight to discuss that, but wanted to collect more facts first.
So if the school is giving permission, they're giving permission for the school property,
Exactly.
Correct.
not the town road.
That's right.
Yes.
So
That's
if
right.
we were to say that the town road is closed on both sides of the school, the school can do whatever they want. In my thought, as soon as you give one person permission, you're opening it up for donuts on a soccer field.
Yep.
Mhm.
May or may
Yep.
not have been down that path a time or two, but, yeah. Brenda, you were,
yeah, I just was curious that, would it be appropriate to contact the resident of that street that has an ATV and say, this is not written for you, this is written for
Nope,
the traffic?
if it's closed, it's closed. You can't, we already went down this with somebody by Lance,
right,
who came in and wanted us to pretty much say, I won't get a ticket if I ride my
right.
ATV for my little joyride on Sunday, which we can't guarantee. It's either closed or it's open.
Well, can it just be for accepting to exit, to get onto?
That's
so
not our call. He'll
that's-
have to
yeah,
figure
that's-
out how he gets from point A to B.
Correct, that is not, that's not our
We don't-
decision, because at that point, you're on private land. So if he so chooses to cross private land to access the town road, assuming he is doing so legally and responsibly, that's entirely up to him and the landowners. Very much the same as access trails, with VASA, or not VASA, VAST, sorry. A private landowner can get permission from his abutting neighbors to cross their property to access the VAST trails. Now, that is not actually a legal trail, it is an access trail. And it is laid out in the VAST, bylaws, but I don't think we're getting to that point. I think Terry's right, we say, Academy Lane and the Avenue from the intersection of 108 to the intersection of Egypt Road are closed to ATVs. If you need to access 108, we request that you do so through Egypt Road.
So you need a motion?
I mean, those roads have been closed right along anyways,
They
Yeah.
have that.
That's what I was
Yes,
gonna
they
ask,
have.
they've been closed historically, right?
Yes.
from the start.
Yep, no different.
So
So,
there's no change.
But we should have signs.
Now
Yeah.
opening that up means that we have to name specific roads,
would
which
this,
is what we're doing.
would the select board
We will,
entertain a
yes.
motion to,
Or you can say everything on the west side except for the Avenue
Correct.
and Brigham.
I think,
would the select board entertain a motion to open all of the unpaved roads to the west, for the town of Bakersfield, to the west of Route 108, with accordance and compliance to our current ATV standards, which means they open May 1 and close
I think it's November.
November 31.
I wouldn't quote that, I don't have the ordinance right here from me.
Well, let's just
It would-
leave
it would be
with
conjunction.
accordance with the ordinance.
Yep. Is there a second for that motion?
I'd second that motion.
So Land's motion.
Correct.
Are we going to put in the, except for these two roads?
Those are the only two paved roads on that
Those roads
side.
are paved.
Okay.
So,
Brenda did the second.
Brenda?
so if we exclude, or if we just name the unpaved roads.
That's what the motion says.
Yep.
To open unpaved roads on the west side.
Open all of the unpaved roads to the west of 108 in accordance with compliance to our ATV statutes.
Perfect.
Seconded by Brenda.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, I would like to see, maybe, Lance, if you could just jot down a note, ask Mac about a couple, no ATV signs that could be posted at the intersection of Egypt and, the avenue, and another 2 signs for each end, there's only really one end, of the, Academy Lane. 4 signs total. That
A question, because they're paved and it's a parking lot and a paved road, would you only want where they come off of dirt to have that posted there?
you can't technically access Academy Lane
Yeah, correct.
from any road except one way.
So you're gonna need 3
Without-
signs.
Correct. Yep. One for the end of Academy Lane and 108, one for the end of the Avenue and 108, and one for the end of the Avenue and Egypt intersection.
So is that 5 or 3?
No, that's 3.
3. So my Don lawyers, they shouldn't come this way around the avenue.
And the end of my
They gotta go
driveway.
straight.
The end of my driveway, which, I guess that means I get that 108 now to get onto Egypt Road, which is, you know. All right, I think that external audit, we are still tabling that, waiting for,
I'm sure we'll get
were you able to
some,
get one from
I'm-
KDS?
yes, but I'm
The
sure
6
they will
letters
wait,
went out.
I'm sure people will wait until, tax season's
I
done.
would agree. Town hall furnaces, we're gonna table. I do have a question, but just on a personal level, John, what did they say when did the efficiency drop off on the heat pumps? Do you remember what
There's
the external
still
temperature was?
30 degrees or?
It was like 10 degrees, I think you said.
So the efficiency drops
Starts to
when the
drop.
external temperature is at 10.
Okay.
That was for my
I
personal.
believe, Josh, it was 10 degrees.
Sign forms. Well,
Done that.
that's very, very open. I didn't really like that one. I think we've done that.
What forms?
I don't know, I just wanted, I just wondered that,
That's-
remind me of something.
That's
I
a,
can't remember.
that's a good one. Others.
Okay, wait,
Okay,
did
wait.
Matt take those forms? No.
Yes, you
Yes,
did.
you did.
Okay, good. I didn't
Yep.
know if I was supposed to do something.
No, he took.
No,
Perfect.
we gave you one form that
You
you
gave me
need.
one form?
Yep, we gave you one. It was a building use form. Who was the entity that was using the building
Do
list?
you think he took that?
That is the coding.
Right, it's an exam, right?
Yeah, it's
They're
coding.
using the building for an exam. It was
I think he took the packet.
okay, well, can you check that or check with him and see if he
Building
has?
use form?
Yeah, do you remember the?
Sue Ann Coffin.
there you
Oh,
go.
yeah, I
That's
remember that.
651
How'd you
Joe
come
Road.
up with that name like
I
that?
know, it's my girlfriend, it's easy enough. I told her I couldn't sign the form in all fairness.
Okay,
What's it
so
for?
Matt,
She's a certified coder, medical coder, and they have to do exams for people. And seeing how she's up here now, and she's like, can we use the town building for an exam in July? And I said, yeah, fill out the appropriate forms and request it. And so they're gonna do like 6 people, they don't do a bunch, 6 people, everybody has to do their own table and they have to take.
It has to be a public building, right?
Yeah, they have to be in some form of a large building format, that there's 2 exam proctors.
Yep.
Who have to watch these people take the exam. So it's pretty, it's like 6 hours long, it's not a quick exam. Yeah, it's a, you
It's
know,
like a
big work
nursing.
for an engineer.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Can't even
All right.
hardly cough.
Others?
They'll ask you to leave.
Only other I got, Mr. Chairman, is that I have an ARPA funds report due at the end of the month. And I'm looking, again, we call it Vermont League of Cities and Towns. But I already have access to the US Department of Treasury to fill out that report, so.
Excellent, and I think John attended a
Yeah.
meeting and he has some updates, for you.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you attended that or not.
No, he and I have been talking, and
Excellent.
I also have the
What was the
the
update on?
webinar. It was, new rules.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they changed them again.
in the last 2 weeks, they've made modifications to the final ruling. Well, you get a group of lawyers and they take a look at things and they reevaluate, and they came out with new findings.
So what are they?
Well, In a nutshell, really, in a small nutshell, it is, that you should only spend the funds for provision of government services now, something that the town would use, and according to them, if we wouldn't normally pay it from taxpayers' money, that we should really avoid using it. So if it wasn't something that we would use for the daily count pieces, for day-to-day operations or town functions that we normally wouldn't use out of taxpayer money, then we should really take a hard look at it.
360 with this thing, didn't they?
Yeah, there's,
They did that.
But
So,
it was, geez,
does
Brenda,
that mean-
if you had a hard time, I'm gonna give you some money. Now
Right.
it's gone to.
now, is that, if we were looking at a grader or a
Yeah.
backhoe,
That's town funds.
that would be
Yeah.
actual town funds, so that would
And
make
you
that
use it
money
daily.
available for that.
correct,
That's good to know.
correct.
So where is this information?
League of, the League of, Vermont League Cities and Towns, I'm waiting for the,
Oh,
They
it's through
recorded
their website?
yeah, they recorded it, and I'm gonna send off the recording to Ollie so that you can review it.
He did send us the link in an email, last week, I believe, right,
Yeah.
John?
Yeah, I sent off an email with it.
But it was like right in the middle of the day.
It was 12:30,
Yeah.
the long meeting, like two and a half
I'll
hours.
have to look and see if I have it.
I had, Steve.
I couldn't even get on my email.
Yeah.
Or-
And the problem is they don't give you a big, they don't give you a big lead in, it's like a day, 2 days before, it's like, hey, here you go.
Yeah.
We're holding this session. They have one for the listeners going off tomorrow, it came out yesterday, or Friday.
Thanks for that.
Others,
I have none,
seeing none, I would entertain
What
a
changes this request then?
I have none on the chat either.
okay. I would entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second?
We have a motion to adjourn from Brenda, second by Lance. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Have a good night.